Listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Herald what your mother said, read the books your father read, trying to solve the puzzles in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you, others take a different view. My, oh my, yeah, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Time asks no questions, it goes on without you, leaving you behind if you can stand the pace. The world keeps on spinning, can't stop it if you try to. The best part is danger staring you in the face. Whoa. Remember, listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my, eh, eh, eh. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Got to be bold, got to be bad, got to be wise, don't ever sad. Got to be hard, not too hard. All I know is love will save the day. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard.
Hi, and welcome. I'm Gretchen Mowney, they, she, and I am zooming in from Columbia, Missouri. I am the UUA's Accessibility Resources Coordinator. I am a elder millennial with chin-length blue hair, wearing a couple pairs of headphones, and some silver hoop earrings, a black blazer over a blue and black and white patterned top. In order to increase accessibility, we've employed ASL, and you can also activate a transcript or use the captions, all in some options in your Zoom. We will also be describing visual elements like I just did for myself, for anyone who's blind like me or finds them helpful in any other way. If you have any access needs that aren't being met, please direct them to our tech and accessibility assistant, Wendy Werrick. Or if you can't use the chat, very well like me, feel free to raise your hand using Alt-Y for PC or Option-Y for Mac, or just tapping on the icon, and we'll call on you and see how we can help. The meeting is being recorded for use as an accessibility resource, and the recording and transcript will be made available in the coming weeks. A final note. Please know that it is always okay to turn off your camera and leave the meeting space at any time. It's also okay to show up however you are able. This includes lying down, moving around, fidgeting, and more. However you show up, whoever you are beloved and welcome here. Our opening words this morning are from Care Work, Dreaming Disability Justice by Leah Lakshmi Peepsna Sammersuna. For years, awaiting this apocalypse, I have worried that sick and disabled people, we will be the ones abandoned when our city floods. But I am dreaming the biggest disabled dream of my life. Dreaming not just of a revolutionary movement in which we are not abandoned, but of a movement in which we lead the way. With all of our crazy, adaptive device, loving kinship and commitment to each other, we will leave no one behind. As we roll, limp, stem, sign, and move in a million ways towards co-creating the decolonial living future. I am dreaming like my life depends on it, because it does. We will now light our chalice with these words from Melanie Davis. If ever there were a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice. Our chalice is now lit, and we have an opening song this morning, Loosen by Ali Halpert. The video will show a variety of musicians of various genders playing their instruments and singing in a dark red tinted room. Ali, the lead singer, is wearing a hot pink shirt and a black vest.
Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. And holy name, will you ease, will you to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Gretchen, to you.
Yes, I was still focused on the music, I think. I love that song. This is Gretchen again, and I am so happy to welcome you to our first Uplift Access webinar of 2026. These monthly lunchtime learning sessions provide lay leaders, religious professionals, and more an opportunity to learn about an array of topics regarding accessibility, inclusion, and disability justice, and how to apply that knowledge to their work within Unitarian Universalism. As Unitarian Universalists, we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of all people, but we don't always know what that looks like in action. We are called to dismantle forms of oppression in ourselves and in our institutions, but we don't always know how. Through presentations on accessible practices, dismantling systemic ableism, and by highlighting the disabled UU experience, we aspire to equip you with the knowledge and tools to live these values out loud when it comes to our disabled siblings. This month, we're talking about creating communities of care. And one of the best ways to begin creating a community is to begin by getting to know the people around you. So let's start off by learning a little bit about each other here in this room. Please share your name, pronouns, and visual description, if that's comfortable for you, where you're based, and a few words that come to mind when you think of community care. Please put your answers in the chat for Wendy to read aloud for everyone, or if the chat doesn't work well for you, feel free to raise your hand, Alt-Y or Option-Y, or clicking on the raise hand button, and we'll ask you to share aloud for everyone. I know for me, when I think of community care, I think I think of potlucks and love and getting rides places because I can't drive. Who else has thoughts?
Um, I'm
Carol
Carol.
has their hand.
I'm Carol Fensel, and I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. Community care is, for me, is taking care of each other as we have changes in our abilities. I have a husband who's recently having to move to taking a walker every place he goes, and there are a number of amazing number of places that are not very accessible now.
Thanks, Carol. Yeah.
Shauna has their hand raised.
Hey, Shauna, go ahead.
Thanks, Gretchen. Good morning, everyone, or whatever time zone it is. Shauna Eisenberg, she or they pronouns. Visual description, I am an elder white person, femme presenting, trans, non-binary, I have long curly silver hair, wearing purple framed tinted rose tinted glasses, and today just wearing a black hoodie because I'm in the Northeast in New Hampshire, Abenaki land, and it's cold. Um, let's see, and community care today comes to mind. Oh, singing together in our services really feels like community care for me. And just any moment of getting together, either physically or, via Zoom or chat with close friends who are also part of the communities, for me, intersecting trans and disabled communities, just being in contact with people that, even simple texts are really community care. Thank you.
Thanks, Shauna.
Win or Winnie? Win. Okay. Winnie has their hand
It's
raised.
Win. It's Win.
Win. Okay.
Uh, Hi, Win Ewing. My pronouns are she and her. I am an aging boomer with gray hair, curly hair, black glasses, and I am in Northeast Georgia. I am here because I am on denominational affairs team and have recently fractured my femur, so I have hopefully a temporary, but who knows, understanding more personal of what it's like to be not able to be at my full physical activity. I hope to learn more about this program, but I feel like community care is being aware of what's happening with folks around you, being concerned, showing that you care, and just communicating with folks.
Thanks, Win.
Okay. We have a chat from Connie. Connie uses she, they pronouns. She is a elder white person with short black hair, wearing headphones and dressed in black, as per usual. She's in Madison, Wisconsin. Community care to her means working toward equity for all people from a place of love.
Thanks, Connie.
And Lalani has raised their hand.
Hey, Lilani, go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Mm.
I'm a disabled Asian queer femme, Gen Xer, red sweater, red headband, and big black glasses. I'm out here in Seattle, which is named after Chief Sealch, a famous Duwamish and Squamish leader whose ideas on ethics and environmentalism continue to be relevant today. I have so many thoughts when I think of community care, but my immediate thing is I think of sharing food, sharing our hope, sharing our resources, skill sharing, the way that when we're together, we automatically start um, sharing, whatever it is we know how to do, whatever it is we've learned, the um, the great book we just read about disability justice or Black history. And then in my personal life, I think about how I've been stretching to talk to people I don't know, my neighbors that I don't know, going to community events in my little township, um, as a way to essentially getting to know the people who live around me, and also kind of trying to prepare for some of the collapse of services. So thanks.
Thanks, Lilani.
All right. And we have Sivani. Did I say that correctly?
Cool. Savani,
Pronounce
go ahead.
Shivani. Shivani. Okay.
Savani.
Thank you. Um, she, her, middle-aged woman with medium-length, wavy brown, blue, and silver hair with bangs and lavender glasses, wearing a gray shirt and sitting in a pink wingback chair. She lives in New Orleans. Wilbancha. Community care is support with chores and basic life tasks that can feel overwhelming, like visiting the doctor, grocery shopping, and listening deeply to each other. And so many other things people shared too.
Wonderful. Thanks, Shivani. And I love picturing you in that pink chair. Well, I better move us along. Um, our guest this month, I'm so excited, is Ronnie Boyd. Ronnie, who uses she and they pronouns, is a seminarian at Star King School for the Ministry, pursuing their master's in divinity. She identifies as a Unitarian Universalist, and she also practices African spiritual traditions. Ronnie is a community organizer, centering her work around addressing state violence and criminalization while advocating for healing justice solutions. They currently work for a member of Congress and serve as a liaison to disabled, faith-based, and African American communities. She holds a bachelor's in political science and women and gender studies from San Diego State University, and a master's in women's gender studies also from San Diego State University. Her research interests include womanist theology, US-based social movements, and ethics of violence. Ronnie is pursuing entrepreneurial ministry and aspires to be an abortion doula. She lives in Oakland, California, on Ohlone land in an amazing QTPOC house, complete with a sweet kitty named Mo and an abundance of plant babies. And I am now going to turn it over to them. Ronnie, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, Gretchen. And I really appreciate the UA Uplift team throughout this process. I've been very well taken care of, so thank you. So my name is Ronnie, she, they pronouns. I am a fat black femme wearing a pretty bright red dress. I have box braids that are blondish brown, and I am wearing pink sparkly glasses. Um, and I'm coming today from my home in Oakland, California. And it is a beautiful day so far, just a little bit wet. Um, but I have to say, I'm really excited for today's presentation that I've created and also the discussion that will be woven in throughout our time together. And if at any point you have questions, I encourage you to put those in the chat, and I know there will be a Q&A at the end as well. So if we could just start the slides, the first slide deck, please. So, building communities of care for a disabled future. Next slide, please. I'm going to share a little bit about me, more than what Gretchen has shared. I am UU. I am a seminarian organizer. I'm also a friend. I'm a little sister. I'm a community member, I'm a roommate, I'm a colleague. I consider myself an agent of peace and chaos. I think they both have their place in the world. I am disabled. I am a psych survivor, and I am a survivor of child abuse and sexual assault. And I understand myself as a builder and a weaver. And there's a picture of me that was taken by my friend Ave in her home. Um, so a brown skinned fat femme, black femme, sitting on a couch with her hand leaning on her, with her hand leaning on her hand, smiling at the camera. She is wearing pink sparkly glasses and a Miss Frizzle t-shirt that is black with light purple, green, and blue letters reading "Take chances, make mistakes, get messy," and an illustration of Miss Frizzle, who is white with red hair, wearing a purple blouse with a blue collar and a pink and her pet green lizard named Liz wrapped around her shoulders. Next slide, please. So I wanted to share a bit about my disabled story. So I am someone that is newly disabled and also um, has a disability that is invisible to a lot of people. Um, I recently started to use a walker for part of my work, and I'm starting to use one in my personal life as well. So there's a transition from being invisible as a disabled person to being a visible disabled person. And my story essentially started with COVID-19. During the last COVID, it's still going on. If I'm being frank, but the height of it when we were all sheltering in place, lasted about, I want to say 2, if not 3 years. And during that time, I was not my body deteriorated in ways that affected my ability to move around the world with ease. So now I experience chronic pain that makes it hard for me to stand up for a certain amount of the time and be able to walk around. And I also developed asthma during this time, which is a compounding factor um, of of my environment. And in terms of being disabled, in terms of mental health, I'm also a part of what we call the MAD community, where I have a bipolar 1 and PTSD diagnoses. Um, and these experiences do require that I take care of myself in a way that is different than folks that don't have any mental health diagnoses. And my care plan is very complex, but it gives me the structure and grounding to be able to do all the things I enjoy doing. And at this point in my life, I am surrounded by a lot of community care, and my self-care practices have been have been merging into community care, uh, which I'm realizing for a lot of us. Community care is what keeps us alive, and self-care is a part of that, but we tend to need more than just ourselves to keep ourselves nourished and alive. Um, in this conversation, I wanted to talk about fostering communities of care. So when we say how do we, as disabled folks and able body folks, develop communities of care together? And that was really the impetus for this conversation. And I wanted to go through a few of the factors that we need to consider if we are going to build a world where disabled folks are affirmed. Next slide, please. So I want us to start with a bit of a reflection and share. Um, Share a time when you felt truly cared for. What was going on that made you feel this way? And I believe we're sharing in the chat, and then when Wendy can share out, or you can raise your hand as well.
I think I'll kick us off. This is Gretchen.
Okay.
Um, I this past Thanksgiving, I um ended up not having a people to get together with, and not having a family Thanksgiving and things, which in the past I have. I was home alone, and a friend of mine, a fellow lay leader at my congregation, showed up to my apartment with multiple Tupperware containers full of Thanksgiving food, that were all, and making sure that there was no turkey because I'm a pescatarian, but tons of amazing, rich, tasty sides that she had cooked from her home. And I felt very cared for.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that, Gretchen. It's good and useful. Okay, and Carol is saying, had a medical issue, and both of my daughters volunteered to leave their work situations and come with me to the doctor. That's beautiful.
And
Um,
Connie is saying, would you like to continue to read?
no, go ahead.
Okay. I just was trying to get other things set up. Okay. Connie says, I missed the last 3 weeks of a semester of grad school due to surgery. My toughest professor made a point of stopping to see me in hospital and reassured me that school was the least important thing at this time.
Oh, that just touched my heart. Mm.
Okay. And Wynn says care included visits, food, transportation, chores by families, and so many friends following the fracture of a femur and 4 weeks of hospital and rehab. All right. And Amarin says, my team provided remote access for an important meeting without making remote participation exceptional or requiring an explanation. And Shivani has their hand raised.
I had a very major surgery about little over a year ago, that left me disabled for like 3 or 4 months. And I had a friend move in with me, and my church put together a meal train. So I always had food, and people would sign up to come visit me. And a really great piece of community care. My harp teacher loaned me her wheelchair so that my friend who had moved in with me would take me to the park and walk me around the park once a week, so I could see birds and visit the trees. And that was a thing that like gave my spirit the joy to continue with the healing process.
And Leilani says in the chat, I'm the I'm the DRE at my congregation, and I'm recovering from vertigo. Oh, my heart goes out to you. And a recent fall. And the children, youth, and staff at my congregation have been carrying things for me and helping me go between floors in our building with greater ease. Other volunteers are doing setup at events, so I don't need to move around chairs and tables.
I wanted to name that a common theme I'm hearing are about people not necessarily going out of their way, but being willing to do things differently so that you could get the care and support that you need. And I think that's a beautiful illustration of the type of care and love that we can offer each other. Okay. Next slide, please. So the four main buckets of how to foster communities of care for disabled folks is creating accessible and inclusive environments, and that's a full 360. Work, school, home, places of worship, businesses, government, social spaces, and virtual spaces. And I think that in the disability justice world, that there is an understanding that these are also places of learning and growth for everyone, even as disabled folks, as we learn how to care for each other across our different disabilities. And then autonomy and dignity over paternalism. Disabled folks, we know what is best for ourselves and not the state and not medical institutions. Whatever care that we ask for, require, need, is to be done with our consent. And then social and emotional connection is imperative to combating isolation and alienation that disabled folks experience by being in an ableist world. So some of those examples that you all gave would be around social and emotional connection. And then meeting specific requests of support. We tend to live in a society that tells people not to have needs, or that if you do have needs or too many needs, that you're a problem, you're needy, like that you should be able to do it on your own. And just as a person of color, a queer person, disabled person, all of my, marginalized identities, I would not be able to survive in this world without requesting things that I need, without putting forward, hey, I need a ride to the airport because I don't have money for an Uber. And for that to not be seen as being a burden on my community, but an opportunity for us to continue to build trustworthy and reliable connections. And I wanted to go to an example of a community here in Oakland that is personifying this. So can we go to the next slide, please? So the Disability Justice Culture Club is a collective of disabled and neurodivergent, queer, trans, and BIPOC folks that is rooted in disability justice. And they are cultivating joyful resistance in their interdependent community in East Oakland, where they center, uplift, and empower folks through shared resources, relationships, and liberatory spaces where no body or mind is left behind. So they have become a pillar in progressive spaces in Oakland. Um, they not only offer um, some housing opportunities for disabled folks, but in their club and in their collective, um, they do skill sharing, they do mutual aid, they host social events, celebrations, and it's definitely a collective that is taking no one is left behind to its most freeing liberatory end. Um, that I have seen out here in the Bay Area. Um, and um, I think that more or organizations could form in this way if there was a demand for it and also funding for it. So there are a lot of great ideas out here. There just isn't a whole lot of funding to do things that are outside of the box and outside of the nonprofit and industrial complex, unfortunately. Um, but I wanted to hear about y'all's experience. Can we go to next slide, please? Are there any communities where you live that are affirming of disabled folks and our experiences? Perhaps like a group, a collective, or even a small group or your circle in your community that you have seen that have illustrated some of these characteristics?
Okay, Amron in the chat says a small private group chat.
I like a good group chat.
And Leilani writes, I feel like you folks are just starting to have some conversations about it. I'm fragrance sensitive, and the other DREs in my region have started an accessibility resource list to provide a place with info, checklists, learning opportunities, guidelines, etc., so they can learn and make events for everyone that are more inclusive. But they hadn't done this until I started repeatedly asking about access.
Mm. Mm.
Connie has their hand up.
Just check that my microphone's working, is it?
Yes.
I'll be brief that we converted at my UU congregation. We no longer have a membership committee. We've chosen to have a connections shared ministry team to be radically welcoming to visitors and newcomers. And part of that effort, I am a person with significant hearing loss, and I have had one my entire life. And I wear hearing aids, And I really struggled to hear in our large atrium auditorium. And so I'm also an audiologist, speech and language pathologist. So, our small group, the Connections Group, is hosting a series of workshops, presentations to all comers to help mitigate, navigate the effects of hearing in this cavernous atrium that we have. I've got that prepared, and we'll meet and present for the first time on March 8th. I'm really excited about it because I personally had done all this work to like figure out how to hear my ministers, and I'm excited to share that and hopefully people see that as supportive. And it's leading us to, well, what does that mean for abilities and disabilities within our congregation? It's never been really directly addressed. And I'll just wrap up saying, as a communication specialist, um, I I see ableist and hear ableist language all the time about why didn't you just, and oh yeah, we have that piece of paper somewhere, that kind of thing. Um, so I'm excited about the conversation. It's caused me to push, push. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie.
And Shauna in the chat says, I live in a rural area, so don't know of organized communities. However, I've been in contact with a couple of other neurodivergent folks about creating meetups.
Hmm. I love that. I will say that uh, I know sometimes people can feel a little wary about smaller groups, but some of the most quality and impactful community can be on a smaller scale. Like we want quality over quantity, right? Uh, so I think that's a really good thing. Yeah. So this is one of my guiding quotes that since I guess what we're calling the world that is collapsing and a new world is coming kind of era that I feel like we're in collectively as a country, as a world, as a faith. Our faith is also has been going through a transformational process the last few years. And this quote, there's nothing new under the sun, but there are new suns by Octavia Butler gives me hope that even though things are changing and that things aren't necessarily new, but that the opportunities that we have before us can be new to us and bring us what we need to live thriving lives and existences. Um, and I did want to bring in current events to the conversation because as we're talking about building a world where for communities of care for disabled folks, we need to acknowledge how our current society is not conducive to any of that. Specifically talking about um, ICE and how they have, they are dehumanizing everyone, specifically targeted people, but they have specifically um, been withholding um, basic care and dignity from disabled people in ICE detention and also as they are kidnapping people off the streets. So as we think small scale in terms of our lives, we also need to think large scale in terms of communities of care as an approach to how we want to be as people of faith, and also as like a bit of a politic, like communities of care. What does that look like when it comes to the structures of our society? Um, and we all know about the big, beautiful bill and how disabled folks are being negatively impacted in terms of healthcare and social safety nets, where money is being funneled from our communities into funding um, warfare. Um, that a disabled future, we need to think about the various aspects that prevent that from happening, and having more frank conversations about imperialism, about colonialism, about white supremacy, about anti-blackness, about patriarchy, because disabled folks are across all communities. Myself, I'm black, I'm queer, I'm fat, I'm disabled. I can't pick one of those out and just isolate it. It's all connected and in conversation with each other. Um, so I just wanted to encourage us, as I know we don't have all day today, but as you think through what you've heard here today, that you think critically about um, when we say communities of care in a world that is disabled and free for all of us, that it means all disabled people of all backgrounds. Um, yeah, and that is all I have. But next slide, I did want to do a little follow up. Um, so thank you for hearing me out today. I'm a very open person, so if you want to email me, follow me on Instagram or Blue Sky, I am very accessible. Um, I really love building community. Sometimes it will take me a minute to get back to you, but I will get back to you. Um, and just to share the image, my best friend took this photo of me, um, and it says fat black femme wearing fall colored clothes sits on a log in the forest with green trees behind her, and she is smiling. And that's how I want to leave you all today, with a smile and some greenery, um, as we carry on in our day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. That was awesome. Uh, I, uh, to give everyone an update on time, we frequently run on Crip time for these presentations, these Uplift Access resource webinars. So they go a bit longer than an hour, sometimes closer to an hour, sometimes less close. But uh, so we've got just a tiny bit more program for you. We're going to share a song now, and after the song, we'll have time for just a few questions or comments if anyone would like to engage. This next song is Amen by Andrew Day. The screen's going to show the words Amen, Andrew Day, printed atop a vibrant orange background, and a black woman with her hair up and large gold hoop earrings stands in front of a body of water.
can't remember why I'm feeling this way. I guess I should be crying, but my heart just won't obey. It feels strange to be happy as I lie here on the rooftop in the rain. I say, amen to all the crazy things that happened that made me who I am. I say, amen to everyone who ever hurt me. I'm stronger 'cause of them. Amen. I'm not worrying about tomorrow. I'm forgetting yesterday. Just savoring the moment in this unfamiliar place. And I'm feeling like the velvet in a beat-up guitar case. And so I say, amen to all the crazy things that happened that made me who I am. I say, amen to everyone who ever hurt me. I'm stronger 'cause of them. Amen. Oh, life is so bizarre. How do we have to be so hard on ourselves? I think I found a way to smile and be okay with myself, with myself. Amen to all the crazy things that happened that made me who I am. Amen to everyone who ever hurt me. I'm stronger 'cause of them. And I might not have the answers, but the questions make more sense. Amen.
Hey, we have time now for a few questions. If anyone would like has a question or anything for Ronnie Boyd.
Cameron says, thank you, Ronnie. Your presentation and photos gave me so much joy.
Awesome.
Yay.
Looks like Leilani had to go, but she says, thanks, Ronnie and all. Shivani says, thank you. I'm also a Star King student. It's exciting to see your work.
Thank you. Oh, thanks, everybody.
Lots of love. Thank you from Wynn for bringing a light to this important work.
Anything else coming in?
No.
Okay. Cool. Well, of course, Ronnie shared many ways to get a hold of them and connect. As you, if you're like me, you might process some now and some later, and then have questions and thoughts to share. And there are ways to talk to Ronnie about that. So I just want to thank everyone who is listening or watching, engaging in whatever way they engage in this work of love and radical welcome with us today and in the days to come. Thank you so much to Ronnie Boyd for joining us today. Thanks to Wendy Wyrick for managing tech and the chat. And thanks to Heather, our ASL interpreter. And now we have one more song that is also pretty feel good. It's Stevie Wonder, For Once in My Life. The video will show a dark stage with Black performers and musicians. Stevie Wonder is out front in his signature black sunglasses, wearing a black blazer with silver chain lapels.
For once in my life, I have someone who needs me, someone I've needed so long. For once, unafraid, I can go where life leads me. Somehow I know I'm strong. For once, I can touch what my heart used to dream of long before I knew. Oh, someone warm like you would make my dreams come true, yeah, baby. For once in my life, I won't let sorrow hurt me, not like it's hurt me before. For once I have someone I know won't desert me, I'm not alone anymore. For once I can see this is mine, you can't take it. Long as I know I have love I can make. For once in my life, I am someone who needs it. Hey, 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 yeah. For once in my life. For once in my life. For once in my life, I won't let sorrow hurt me, not like it's hurt me before. For once I have someone I don't want to hurt me, I'm not alone anymore. For once I can see this is you can take it, long as I know I have love I can make. For once in my life, I am someone who needs me. For once in my life, yeah, someone needs me. For once in my life, somebody that needs.
One of the great challenges.
Thanks, y'all. Our next webinar will be in 1 month on March 26th. So stay tuned. It's also on a Thursday at 11 Eastern. And subscribe to our newsletter to stay tuned to what's next. You can visit the link in the chat to subscribe, reach out to me. You can get me at accessibility@uua.org. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gretchen.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where are we at with the recording?
They're saying 1 second.